What's the connection between the Tower of Babel and the unicorn horn? And what do they have to do with the Antichrist? Where does this Antichrist come from, and how will he enter our world? And how does this all tie in with the internet? It's no coincidence that depictions of the Tower of Babel look like a unicorn horn. It's because they're the same thing. The unicorn horn represents fantasy, dreams, and imagination, just like the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel was going to be a stairway to heaven, where man could escape this world into a new reality, where his dreams and imaginations could become real. And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do." Genesis 11 verse 6. The Tower of Babel is the unicorn horn, and it will emerge from people's heads. This unicorn horn is none other than the Antichrist. I considered the horns, and there came up among them another little horn, and in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Daniel 7 verse 8. The narwhal is the real unicorn of this world. It lives at the North Pole. The top of man's head is the North Pole. Why? Because the UN logo has a wreath around it, and we know wreaths go on the head. The logo is describing the human head. The center point in that logo is the North Pole. That's the top of man's head. That's where the narwhal comes out. The unicorn horn. When people wear a unicorn horn, it's symbolic for the Antichrist coming out of their heads. The Washington Monument is also a unicorn horn. It rises out of Washington, D.C., the head of the country. A horn literally comes out of the head of this country. This closer image of the Washington Monument shows the red glowing eyes of the Antichrist. I considered the horns, and there came up among them another little horn, and in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Daniel 7 verse 8. If you look down at the Washington Monument from above, you will see two circles merging. Those circles represent the right and left eye. The almond shape in the middle is called a mandorla. It represents the third eye. That eye opens when the right and left eye join together. When the male and female come together in union. The unicorn horn will get birthed out of that eye. The right eye has to do with reality because it's connected to the left brain, the side of logic and reason. The right eye is the male. The left eye on the other hand has to do with imagination because it's connected to the right brain, the side of dreams and fantasy. The left eye is the female. When these two eyes come together, then reality and imagination become one. The mixing of reality and the dream world. This is not a good thing. Jesus spoke against this when he said, "The light of the body is the eye," meaning the right eye. "If therefore thine eye be single," meaning if the right eye doesn't unite with the left eye, if it doesn't marry the left eye, thy whole body shall be full of light. "But if thine eye be evil," meaning if it does marry the left eye, thy whole body shall be full of darkness, meaning dreams and imagination will pollute the logic and reason of the right eye, turning them both dark, which in turn will turn the whole world dark, and that is when the Antichrist rises. "If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?" Matthew 6 verses 22 to 23. The third eye is the eye of imagination. The unicorn horn will come out of that eye because it too has to do with imagination. The beast rises from the sea. That sea is the eye. The sea. "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea." Revelation 13 verse 1. The Met Cloisters is a museum in Upper Manhattan. It has two main attractions. The cross of Jesus Christ. And a unicorn. So, what does the cross have to do with a unicorn? Why are these the two main exhibits in this museum? The cross that Jesus died on was placed at the center of the skull of Golgotha, right over the third eye, sealing it shut with blood, confining the beast inside the third eye, fencing him in. That's why the unicorn is inside a fence. The cross is holding him in. It seals the third eye shut and locks him in, preventing that horn from rising. The Bible tells us what to do to this unicorn. Casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5. Once again, the world is becoming one, and rebuilding that tower. The pyramid on the back of the $1 bill represents the Tower of Babel. The all-seeing eye capstone represents the third eye. The tower will be complete when the third eye opens. It's the last piece. Once complete, the world will be one. That is why the all-seeing eye pyramid is on the $1 bill. It symbolizes the world becoming one. The World Wide Web is bringing the world together as one. That's why webs are all over the $1 bill. And what will cause the right and left eye to merge, allowing the third eye to open? Technology. The third eye will open when man merges his mind with the internet. When he uploads his consciousness to the web, and becomes one with it. Doing that will merge his two eyes into one single eye, like a cyclops.
Like a cyclops.
Merging the male with the female. Then his dreams and imaginations will become real as he escapes this reality, and sees what's on the other side waiting for him, to his own horror. And once the mind merges with the web, there's no turning back. The Antichrist will rise from the third eye when the world becomes one, and merges with the internet. As it rebuilds the Tower of Babel, the unicorn horn.